He thought his demeaning comment would make him look clever. Instead, her response didn't just silence him, it turned the entire gathering into her audience. It started as a casual barbecue, a gathering of family and friends. But what unfolded that afternoon revealed a truth no one was expecting. When Daniel humiliated his wife Sophia with a shocking, racist comment, he thought it was harmless. What happened next would shake everyone to their core and change their family dynamic forever. Subscribe to the channel and comment below where you're watching from. Sophia was a force to be reckoned with, intelligent, accomplished, and admired by everyone around her. But there was one person who constantly undermined her. Her husband, Daniel. While Sophia made a habit of uplifting others, Daniel masked his insecurities with subtle jabs at her achievements, always keeping it behind closed doors until now. The evening had been going smoothly until dessert was served. Sophia's famous chocolate cake had everyone eagerly anticipating the treat. As she placed the cake on the table, Daniel seized the moment to make a dramatic announcement. "You won't believe what happened today," he said, grinning. "Sophia here forgot to pay the bill at the grocery store. Can you believe it? I had to go back and handle it." Typical, right? Sophia froze, her smile disappearing. The cheerful mood in the room instantly shifted, replaced by an awkward silence. The guests exchanged uneasy glances, unsure how to respond. Sophia, flushed with embarrassment, knew the truth Sophia hadn't forgotten. There had been an issue with the card reader, but Daniel didn't bother to explain. The tension in the room grew as Sophia tried to regain her composure. She wanted to speak up, to defend herself, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she silently placed the cake down and took a step back, locking eyes with Daniel. He continued to smirk, clearly enjoying the discomfort he'd caused. Later, at the barbecue, when Sophia was asked about the community award she had won for her work in education reform, she spoke proudly of her efforts. But Daniel, still by the grill with a drink in hand, interrupted her with a mocking tone. "Yeah, Sophia's great at proving people wrong about what people like her can do," he said with a chuckle. The mood in the backyard shifted instantly. Conversations halted, and all eyes turned to Sophia. Some nervously laughed, others looked away, unsure how to react. Sophia's smile wavered, and for a moment, she simply stared at Daniel, the heavy silence hanging in the air. Sophia calmly set down her drink, her movements deliberate, her composure almost unnerving. She stood up, her presence commanding everyone's attention without needing to raise her voice. "Daniel," she began, her tone measured but razor-sharp, "do you even understand what you just said? Or were you too busy trying to impress everyone here with your cheap jokes?" The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Daniel laughed nervously. "Come on, Sophia, don't make it a big deal. It was just a joke." Sophia tilted her head, her eyes locking onto his. "A joke? Let's unpack this so-called joke," she said, her voice growing louder but never losing its control. She turned to the guests. "He says, 'people like me.' What do you think he means by that? Because I'll tell you exactly what I hear: years of fighting to be seen, valued, and respected. Years of being judged by the color of my skin before anyone even bothered to learn my name." Sophia paused, letting her words hang in the air. The silence was deafening. "But here's the real joke, Daniel," Sophia continued, now addressing her husband directly. "The woman you're trying to diminish in front of your friends and family is the same woman who's lifted you up every time you doubted yourself. The same woman who stood by you when you were too afraid to chase your own dreams. The same woman who doesn't need your validation or anyone else's to know her worth." The room was so quiet, you could hear the wind rustling outside. Daniel opened his mouth to speak, but found no words. Sophia stepped closer, her voice steady but full of power. "You think making me small makes you look big? No, Daniel, it just makes you look small." She looked around the group. "I deserve respect, no. I demand it. And if anyone here thinks I'm wrong, feel free to speak up." No one said a word. Sophia excused herself and walked back into the house, leaving Daniel standing there, exposed and humiliated. The guests, unsure how to proceed, began murmuring among themselves. Some exchanged awkward glances, while others whispered, trying to make sense of what had just happened. The festive atmosphere of the gathering had vanished, replaced by an uncomfortable tension. Inside the house, Sophia took a few deep breaths, trying to calm the storm of emotions swirling inside her. She felt a mix of anger, hurt, and disappointment. How could Daniel, her own husband, humiliate her like that in front of everyone? She had always believed in him, stood by his side, but this was too much. Later that evening, as the guests were leaving, Daniel approached Sophia in private. His usual confidence was gone, replaced by a look of regret and uncertainty. "Sophia, I didn't mean it," he said, his voice trembling. "I thought it would be funny. I didn't realize." Sophia cut him off, her eyes fierce and unwavering. "You didn't realize because you've never had to think about what it feels like to be diminished. You've never been the one on the receiving end of those hurtful comments," she said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "If you love me, Daniel, you'll stop hiding behind jokes and start respecting me. Until then, don't expect me to stand by your side." Her words hit him harder than anything she'd ever said. Daniel felt a wave of shame wash over him. He had always thought of himself as a loving husband, but in that moment, he realized how blind he had been to his own behavior. That night, Daniel began to reflect on his actions, understanding that his thoughtless comments and jokes weren't just hurting Sophia, were eroding the foundation of their marriage. As he lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, Daniel knew he had to change. He couldn't risk losing the woman he loved because of his own foolishness. He promised himself that he would do better, that he would listen to Sophia and understand her feelings. He didn't just want to be a good husband, he wanted to be the partner Sophia deserved. The story spread quietly among their social circle, and many friends reached out to Sophia to express their admiration for her courage. They told her how much they respected her for standing up for herself. Some friends even admitted that her speech had made them think about their own biases and behavior. "Thank you for speaking up, Sophia. It made me reflect on my own actions," one friend said. "You've inspired me to be more mindful of my words," said another. As for Daniel, he knew he had to make things right. He began attending workshops on communication and bias, determined to become a better man. It wasn't an easy road, but he was committed. He realized that understanding and respecting others, especially his wife, was not just important, it was essential. Sophia made it clear. Respect wasn't optional, it was mandatory. She stood firm in her beliefs, knowing that their relationship could only grow stronger with mutual respect. Daniel's journey was just beginning, but he was ready to change. He wanted to be the supportive and loving husband that Sophia deserved. Their friends watched with hope, rooting for their relationship to heal and grow. Through their struggles, Sophia and Daniel were setting an example for everyone around them, showing that true change starts with respect and understanding. This story is a reminder that silence enables disrespect, but standing up for yourself can shift the balance of power. Sophia's bravery not only reclaimed her dignity, but also forced her husband and everyone around them to confront uncomfortable truths. It's a lesson in self-worth and the importance of demanding respect, even from those who claim to love you. Subscribe for more stories of strength and empowerment, and let's inspire each other to stand up for what we deserve.